All right, good morning, everybody. Today we are going to be doing two videos. I know, absolutely terrible. I didn't give you one the other day, so I got to make up for it somehow. The first one is going to be a short lecture, something we all enjoy. And the second one will be kind of a walkthrough of today's activity. I'll go step by step, look at the instructions, show you exactly what you need to do. All right, so let's get started here today. Sharing my screen. Today we are going to talk about direct object pronouns. This should not be entirely new to you. Oh, I hate this thing. It's always in the way. Okay, should not be entirely new, but we're going to go through it, make sure you know what's happening. Okay, so we have direct object pronouns here for our topic. First things first, I think the most important thing to understand before we start figuring out the pronouns is understanding what is a direct object, okay? So we're starting with the parts of a sentence. For simplicity's sake, we are going to only talk about three parts of a sentence today. We're going to talk about the subject, the verb, and then the direct object. I'd like to think you know what a subject and a verb is, but I never know with some of you guys, all right? So I have 5 example sentences here. I eat crickets. Mr. Panko teaches Spanish. We watch television, they play basketball, and he helps her clean. All right, those are very, very basic sentences. We need to know that the subject, I'll get myself out of the way here, of the sentence is the person doing the action. It answers the question, who? So I eat crickets. Who's the person doing the action? Who's the person doing the eating? It's I. Who's teaching Spanish? Mr. Panko. Who's watching television? We are. Who's playing basketball? They are. Who's helping her? He is. Okay, so these are the subjects of our sentence. Next thing we need to identify is the verb. The verb is the action. It's eating, teaching, watching, playing, and helping. And finally, for today's lesson, we need to understand what the direct object is. And the direct object is the thing directly affected by the verb. So what are we eating? We're eating crickets. What are we teaching? We're teaching Spanish. What are we watching? We're watching television. What are we playing? Basketball. And who are we helping? Her. Okay, it's the thing directly affected by the verb. Okay, so again, subject, verb, and direct object. So here's a couple of examples in Spanish. I have the subject underlined, the verb in all caps, and the direct object is italicized. I didn't double check my work. I hope italicized is spelled correctly. It'd be very embarrassing if it's not. So best, just don't look it up, okay? Number 1, this thing's in the way again. I need you to move. It says, ella juega voleibol. All right? Ella is the subject. She is the person doing the action. Playing is the verb. What is she playing? Volleyball. That's our direct object, okay? Los hombres comen hamburguesas. Who's eating? The men. What are they doing? They're eating. That's our verb. What are they eating? The thing directly affected by the verb? Hamburgers. This is our direct object, okay? Yo veo el perro. I, subject, veo, see, the verb. What do I see? The dog. That is my direct object. And finally, mi tía compra un suéter. Who's doing the buying? My aunt. That's our subject. What is she doing? The action. She's buying, our verb. What is she buying? A sweater. That is our direct object. Okay. Moving on. Let's take a look at what direct objects are in English. They work very similar between English and Spanish. The only thing that really changes is where we place them in the sentence, okay? So we have direct objects or direct object pronouns in English and well. They are it and them. If someone asks, do you have the books? You can say, oopsie, sorry. You can say, yes, I have them. Them is a direct object pronoun. It's replacing the books. We do this to avoid repetition, mostly. If someone says, do you have the books? You don't have to say, yes, I have the books. You can just say, yes, I have them. Okay. Now let's take a look at what it looks like in Spanish. In Spanish, we use the direct object pronoun to replace the direct object of a sentence. However, the direct object pronoun that we choose is different depending on what the direct object is. Okay. So for today, we're only going to focus on 4 direct objects. They are lo, la, los, and las. Lo replaces masculine singular objects. La replaces feminine singular objects, los masculine plural, and las feminine plural. All right. So a couple of examples here. If we want to replace el libro, we would use lo. If you want to replace la revista, just magazine, we use la. The pencils or los lápices, los. And then if we want to replace las plumas, which is feminine and plural, we would use las. This presentation will be on Schoology, so you guys can go back and look at it as well. Okay, so I kept this chart up in the top right corner. And now let's look at a couple of examples in common use. Direct object pronouns are frequently used with questions, right? Because we already know what we're talking about. So a question is, ¿Tienes el libro? Do you have the book? Say, sí, lo tengo. Notice everything is italicized. So lo is replacing el libro. Instead of saying sí, tengo el libro, yes, I have the book, you can say, yes, I have it. ¿Ves los chicos? Do you see the boys? Sí, los veo. ¿Compras frutas frescas? Do you buy fresh fruit? Sí, las compro cada día. Notice that this whole thing, frutas frescas, is our direct object because it's all getting replaced with las. Okay. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about where we place the direct object pronoun, but for now, notice that it always goes before the conjugated verb. Okay. So with that, that is going to end our first video, our lecture for taking notes. Again, this presentation will be in Schoology if you want to go back through it. After you're done with this video, please go watch the second video for instructions on today's activity. Thank you.